You're saying more black people get abortions.
Yes. So I looked
Okay,
it up.
why is that, white lady? White lady, why do more black people get abortions? Because abortions are based on what? Lack of access to resources. Nope, because abortions disproportionately happen to impoverished people. Why are black people more impoverished than white people? Because of white supremacy. So thank you for pointing out that people that have been forced into poverty through systemic racism of the last 200 years are forced to abort their baby more because of the lack of resources to be able to raise a baby. And then you, as a white lady, use that as your talking point to take the health care away from those same women that are suffering in those same impoverished neighborhoods because you don't want to acknowledge the white supremacy behind it all. Go ahead.
Abortion is rooted in racism. It's inextricably tied to eugenics. Margaret Sanger.
America's.
I love the.
Devastates people from the global majority the most. Obviously, let's be really clear about that. But whiteness carries a cost for white people too. And I wish white people could get that into their heads. It shows up in how isolated we often are. In regions like the Northeast and Wales, over 90% of people are white British, and a third of white Britons say they have no friends from a global majority background. I mean, think about what that means. We are cut off from whole worlds of perspective, from different ways of thinking, problem solving, creativity, ideas, joy, humor, you name it. Instead of gaining resilience through difference, we stay small and we stay shallow and we cling to sameness, and I guess we call that normal. Whiteness looks like power, but it's really a cage. It cuts us off from the richness of life itself. Racism dehumanizes people of color, but it also diminishes white people. And anti-racism isn't charity work, remember. It's how we open the door to fuller humanity, connection, and possibility. I mean, it would be great if we did this out of the goodness of our hearts and for the sake of justice. But if that feels like too much to ask, do it for selfish reasons. Do it because your life will be richer, deeper, funnier, and better.
Are the mental health problem in this country? Jim Crow, white men. Slavery, white men. Segregation, white men. Concentration camps for Asian Americans in the late 30s and early 40s. 1,800 people died. How many black people were hung from trees? 8,000. Let me guess. Oh yeah, once again, white men. The gun violence? 98% are men. 84% are white men, U.S. citizens. I see a trend. How about the Middle Passage where 1.2 African Americans died? Oh yeah, once again, white men. Why was the Second Amendment written? Let me think. So black people couldn't have their freedoms. So the white men could once again control them. Who's in the White House? An adjudicated rapist, convicted felon white man. Wow, I see a trend. But somehow Americans are just begging to blame a trans person, a non-white person. See, what happened to George Floyd is symbolic of what's happening in this country. The white man putting his knee on the neck of a non-white person and sitting there in broad daylight with the balls to say, who's going to stop me? And that's what we're seeing right now. So that's the question that we need to ask ourselves as a fucking country. Who's going to stop them? Because I'm just one person here. Now, I don't know about you, but I got friends and family that are sitting behind the white privilege, and I want nothing to do with them. Not because of who they are, because their lack of action. Martin Luther King said, history is going to remember not the people that did bad things, but the good people that stood by and did nothing. Because once again, the white man is hiding behind their privilege while everybody else is getting treated like absolute fucking garbage. Because it doesn't affect me. You don't even want to go on a general strike to stop fascism. Oh, I can't work. Oh, I got a job. White man is the mental health crisis in the United States of America. It has been since day one.
So I see, once again, we've had it put into our face that white folks, we are the problem. We're the problem. We're the problem. Our refusal to honestly deal with our history of hatred, racism, genocide is a problem. Our inability to see where the unhealthiness of our culture is the problem. Our inability to see how racism and Christianity all tied up in together is the problem. And the biggest problem is that we do not see we are the problem. God bless everyone. Have a beautiful afternoon.
America chose. And it chose white supremacy, fascism, and authoritarian rule. It chose the subjugation of women, gays, immigrants, in service of white supremacy. And in service of one man, really. Because we've decided with this election to put one man outside the bounds of the rule of law. And it's going to be way worse this time. Because you just rewarded a criminal conman grifter whose back was against the ropes and who's seen no repercussions for any of his criminal acts or acts of revenge against his perceived enemies. You've given him carte blanche to do whatever he wants.
Happy that a lot of white people to be precise, are not only seeing where their fault is coming from, but they are not seeing that every single thing they think can actually be in favor to them is now a problem. They are now waking up to the reality of seeing their own color as another big issue to them. This is beautiful. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you. Liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. And yes, with that being said, let's continue watching this video and I'll be back with commentaries.
Might be a hot take, but a lot of white people are not happy. There are 3 reasons for this. The first is that there is just a general idea of just hyper-individualism and hoarding of resources. A lot of them are extremely stingy, don't tip well, and also don't donate to local charities. They're very isolated, and what few friends they have, their connection is built upon shared bigotry, which is obviously not a strong connection. Number 2, a lot of white people feel a sense of emptiness. They have the job, the car, the career, the kids, the Bible, but they don't feel that sense of fulfillment.
White people, let's talk about it. Let's talk about our violence, white violence. No more deflecting, no more blaming everything on everybody else. Let's confront ourselves. White people in America, our history is so extremely violent. And instead of confronting that, we continue to blame other people for the issues and the problems in this country, instead of just taking ownership of our part to play in everything, which is a huge part. Can we stop scapegoating other groups of people, please, and just look at ourselves?
Before this app goes kaput, specific to white people in America, which is kind of me. There are these conversations we have about imposter syndrome, you know, like, I have imposter syndrome, I have imposter syndrome. And for a white person, the reason that you and I have imposter syndrome is because we are imposters. To be born white in America is to be born a settler. Even if we don't own land, the cultural implications of colonization and the power structure means that we have a settler psyche. That's how our brain works. That's how we think. That's how we go. In the entirety of the sense of self in whiteness for white people is a fabrication. It is a lie. It is pretenders. We are imposters. That's why we have imposter syndrome, because we are imposters. Why do you think white people, especially white men, me, why do you think we're so fragile? Why do you think we can't handle conflict? Why do you think we run away all the time? Why do you think it's because we have a fragile sense of self, a fragile ego, and we're fragile because we are trying to keep up this charade of being superior, which is a fucking lie. The irony of a superiority complex is a deep sense of misery and fragility that makes life not enjoyable, because we are actually living counter to what is true to humanity, which is that we are all the same fucking species, meaning we are all equal, we are all worthy and valuable to the same fucking degree. But because we have so distorted that, because of our ancestors have so distorted that, maybe I should point down, they're certainly not going there. Because of that distortion, we are born in this psychological framework where we have this really fragile sense of self, and we're just trying to keep up with the Jones, keep up the fucking charade, and we don't do the fucking work internally to actually figure out how to root and ground ourselves in some sort of values, to respect the humanity of others, to respect the humanity of ourselves. And so we just pretend, and then we feel terrible. I'm an imposter. They're gonna find out that I'm a fraud. Well, you're a fucking fraud, and so am I, because we're fucking white Americans. Now, this is a little bit different for men and women. There is an imposter syndrome that exists under patriarchy for women that I'll never understand. And so I'm just speaking to the white portion of this. But if you are white, even if you're a woman, it's a little bit different, obviously. But like white people in general, we are fucking imposters, man. And we gotta confront that and look at it dead in the mirror, because do we want to be fragile forever? Do we just want to like not be able to deal and handle conflict forever? Do we want to do this bullshit right to comfort forever? And I'm looking myself in the mirror right now. This is what I realized this whole last year. I am a fraud. I am a fake. I am a pretender. That's who I have been. That's not who I need to continue to be. There's a better world. There's a better life. There's better relationships. But the longer we run away from this shit, the longer we fucking hide, where are we gonna get? We're never gonna be good community members. We're never gonna be able to practice actual revolutionary values. We're just gonna keep in the same fucking bullshit, distant, non-intimate, fake, imposter shit. We have imposter syndrome.
I cannot wait for the comments on this one, but white people, we're gross, and I just learned yet another reason why. So my 3-year-old son is in nursery school, right? And we got an email the other day that said that there was lice happening at the school. Gross. So I follow the links to like the CDC page on head lice, and I of course buy all the products and get the knit comb and all the things, and I'm studying the information on the CDC page when what to my wondering eyes should I come across but the little fun fact that African American communities experience less lice than white people. It just makes me think of what a nice compliment that is to the TikTok I saw the other day. Oh, I wish I could remember who created it, with the guy talking about how when the Europeans came here to the US, then, you know, Turtle Island, the indigenous people could smell them like football fields away, and they were like so repulsed that they begged them to bathe, and they taught them how to have appropriate levels of hygiene. And they say white people have no culture. It's in our blood.
Huge difference between being not racist and anti-racist. Growing up as a white person, I was not racist. I didn't say the N-word, but I also was terrified to participate in any sort of discussion about race. I sort of just stayed out of it, right? I was like, this isn't a problem I contribute to, but it's also not gonna be a problem that I help put an end to, I guess. Then I went to college at Brown, and that's where I learned that not being racist is in its own way contributing to racism. Because if you are too scared as a white person to call out the racism of other people or to critically examine your own biases, especially your implicit ones, that is still a contributing factor to the problem. And that's why I now make the content that I do, because I'm thinking back to all of these things that I heard as a child, and I'm seeing my entire life in a new light. Like, wow, this family was quite racist, this friend was racist, all these things that the people I went to high school with that they did, sort of critically examining it as well as my own biases. So if you are someone who continues to insist that you're not racist, you're probably contributing to.
Black people are taking white jobs. China gave us the China virus. Haitians are eating pets. Puerto Rico's a floating island of garbage. What the fuck are white people besides gigantic pieces? That video was taken down after it went very viral because apparently there was a whole bunch of people who didn't like me talking shit about the white folk. But I'm here today on November 6th, the day we literally lost our democracy, to tell you that white people are the fucking problem. We've always been the problem, and we're always going to be the problem. I am not one of those fucking pick-me girls, okay? I am on all the marginalized groups' side. I will say fuck the patriarchy to anyone who will listen. This right here, this Donald Trump presidency for 2024, white. So it's, we let all of our black and brown and gay and lady friends, we let everyone down. Yep. You can only blame you, white people. And I'm trying to make this video so it doesn't come down, because you are the fucking racists in this country. Yep. I mean, you are the ones that called every marginalized group a slur, not the other side. Have the fucking day.
People have done every single thing in our power to make black people feel less than, to feel worthless, to feel inferior, and you didn't. We failed. We failed in that. We enslaved you, we beat you, we bred you, we treated you worse than cattle. We did everything that we could in order to make the black person in this country feel inferior. And you are still here and you influence everything. Every single day is influenced by a Black person in some way. Music is influenced by Black people. Fashion is influenced. The way we speak is influenced. Every single thing that is American culture has been influenced by Black American. So as a white person, if your people have spent hundreds of years telling you that these other people are worth less than you, you're going to be fucking annoyed when they don't act the way that you've been told that they should fucking act, right? That's their mentality. That is what their mentality is. They've been told their entire lives that Black people are inferior. And so when you don't act that way, it enrages them. And that is it. It's jealousy. The community that Black people have in every situation, Montgomery, there was a hat thrown in the air and you guys jumped into action. It was, I am so trying to be respectful. I really not trying white woman tears this. Black women have the DNA for every single human on the planet. It is in your bones. You make it. And that is magic. So it's another, it's like, I don't mean this in any disrespectful way. They're playing their role. It's just like the heteronormative way of life, right? Like you're assumed straight until you come out, because that's what everybody does. Everybody does it. And so we all play our roles that we are assigned, but Black people in this country are not playing the role that was assigned to them in the mentality of white people. You guys aren't taking out our garbage. You're not taking care of our children. You're not in the fields. You know, you're educated. You are highly educated. Like, again, you are more educated. Black women are more educated today than every other class of person. And that happened in less than 50 years. It is jealousy. It is rage, and the fact that you guys are not playing the assigned role that they think that you should be playing. So I hope that this was...
You don't think white women have been conned to the most by patriarchy? Explain this. 92% of Black women voted for Kamala Harris, and only 47% of white women did. So more than half of white women voted for a patriarchal rapist. Why? Because they were the most conned by patriarchy. Sure, patriarchy runs thick in all of us and we all do have to deconstruct. But because of patriarchy's intersection with white supremacy, it hits different for white women. White women are told, yeah, white men might be the most powerful in society, but you can live in their houses. You can have access to the places where these men go, to the places where influence happens. You can just influence your husband to get the world that you want because your husband will be the most powerful in this society. Patriarchy says, yeah, you have to submit to men. Men will always be higher than you, but you get to be higher than everyone else. And this is how patriarchy subtly convinces white women to help them enforce white supremacy culture. It says, yeah, you can't be at the top of the ladder, but we'll give you the second rung, higher than the rest of them. Patriarchy doesn't make the same promise to Black women or to Latino women. It doesn't work so hard to con them because it knows that they're likely already sufficiently oppressed by white supremacy and likely capitalism too. Patriarchy does its best to get white women to buy into the idea of hierarchy. It needs us to, because if we didn't, we alone could be the force that changed the tides. There are enough of us. So what it tries to offer us instead, in order to entice us to play the patriarchal game, is it says, but you can be not like the other women. You can be better than the other women. You can be the cool girl or the sports girl or the trophy wife. While all those other women are getting oppressed because you're the exception. That's right, you're going to be the exception. Then you will get treated better by patriarchy. Patriarchy won't forget about you and render you invisible when you're in your 40s like it does those other women. You're special. If you're just self-sacrificing enough and you prioritize your children and your husband oh, there will be a bright future waiting for you. Don't listen to those other older women. They're just bitter because they're not special like you. You're different. Patriarchy barely plays that game with other women. That is a game designed for white women. It's why white women are so competitive with each other, because they all think they're vying for the slot of the special woman, the exception to the rule that applies to other women. Little do they know there was never any such exception. That carrot is like the bunny that the greyhound is chasing around the track. It always just seems to elude them. By the time they figure it out when they're in their 40s and they start getting treated like they have no value, well, by then they'll just be discarded, while their husband gets somebody younger who doesn't yet know this, and then that younger woman will be told, you're the exception. It won't happen to you. Just wait, you will be cherished forever. White women need to own our shit. You should be really embarrassed by this.
History. Listen, Shaquita. Isn't that racial profile?
I'm not stitching this to stitch for this woman to understand anything, because there isn't a chance she's going to until she needs other women. She just won't understand it until she needs other women, because white women are the problem. White women are the problem. I am the problem. So I'm trying to be part of the solution. I'm trying to help white women understand that the reason that you're going so hard is because a man told you to go that hard, and men are getting you to do their bidding war for them and go against women. You know, I am a woman's woman through and through, have been my whole life. I have never, will never, and don't need to ever be a pick-me girl. And it's really sad that white women are the problem. But we need to be part of the solution now.
For once, at least, maybe in our nation's history, stop trying to blame white-on-white crime on black people. Can we stop it for once, at least, please? Like, we all knew when Charlie Kirk was killed. We knew who this was going to be. We knew who the suspect was going to be, a young white man. We knew it. And yet, some people tried to spin this to say it was something else. And now threats are being lobbied against black students at universities. Black HBCUs are being threatened to be blown up. I think 4 of them had to shut down yesterday and today because they had to deal with bomb threats. It was never them. It's never been the black community. We always blame anybody else but ourselves. But the call is coming from inside the house. We are the problem. White on white crime, we are the problem. We have always been the problem. So let's, for once, stop trying to blame somebody else and look inward and try to address the actual problems that we are the ones creating.
That's the reality right now. The reality of understanding that every single thing that has literally went on, especially the negative parts, white people are the problem. I'm happy that a lot of them are waking up to that reality. I'm happy that a lot of them have seen that even their whiteness cannot be a blessing as at this point. I'm happy that a lot of them are realizing that every single thing that affects the black community in one way or the other will affect them as well as white people. You know, over time, these people thought that they are more privileged. They thought that nothing can literally happen in as much as you're white. In as much as you're white, you're covered. In as much as you're white, certain things cannot be stripped off from you. In as much as you're white, certain things cannot be denied from you, until they are not getting the reality and now finding out that every single plan they made or had for themselves has literally vanished within a twinkle of an eye. I will keep saying this. The mistakes that white people have literally committed will be very hard, very difficult to be erased. It will be very difficult at some point to be forgotten. It will be very difficult at some point to even come to that conclusion and say, I really want to forgive these people. But it is still a pity to some of them that still do not understand where the problem is coming from. You see, this is why when Black Americans tell you that they are the blessings, they are the blueprints, you do not need to argue. You do not need to ask why. You do not need to act as if what they are saying is not right. Absolutely 100% right. White people have been the major problem that have literally been happening worldwide. Are we going to be talking about the slavery time, where they literally go to different African countries as well, strip them of their freedom, buy them with little cheap things, and rewrite or reclassify a lot of things for we to see and glorify them, for we to see and hallow them? I've been sharing this story not once, not twice on this channel, where African countries idolize white people. They worship white people. The moment they see a white person, they stare at that white person as if that white person is from another different universe. That is why they carry this mentality to the point that even when they travel abroad, they see white people as the superior race. They see them as the Alpha and the Omega, the author and the finisher of their faith, the beginning and the end. And of which, at the end of the day, they are not. They are not. Although a lot of black people are now waking up to the reality. And when I see white people in deep regrets, when I see white people talking, sharing experience, how things were literally supposed to be, I can't help but just sit down here and keep looking at them. Because the annoying path of these people is the fact that no matter how hard something has literally hit them, they will still try all their possible best to repeat that same mistakes that they have literally been repeating. Racism has been one thing that has eaten deeply into their system. Racism has been one thing that has made a lot of them lost a lot of things that they were supposed to enjoy. Racism has been one thing that have never profited them, no matter how hard they try to make it look like. But still, do we still have some racist white people? Yes, we still do. And they'll go ahead justify the fact that, oh, everybody can be racist. Even black Americans as well can be racist. It's not only us. And to now crown it all, a lot of them do not see anything wrong with it. They believe they should be in charge. They believe they should do everything. They believe they should be the superior one. They believe they should be the ones that will say, sit down here, and you will sit down. But I'm happy that a lot of them are waking up to the reality that black people are not only the blueprints. Black people are not only the superior race. Black people are not only the foundation of America, but black people have contributed majorly to the growth, development of every single thing that they enjoy today. Now they are seeing themselves that they are the problem. You can see from the videos that I actually stitch, why a lot of them are saying we are the problem. These people are not the problem. We are the major cause of everything that is happening. You thought that healthcare will literally not be stripped off from you. You thought that it is actually going to be stripped off from black people alone. You thought that you are literally going to be enjoying some certain things and black people will not enjoy those things. Gone are those days. I hope a lot of them can wake up to more realities. But anyways, who am I? They should choose to do whatsoever they want. After all, they are adults, right? Let me know what you think in the comment section, and credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. And let me know your honest thoughts in the comment section. For disclaimers, educational purposes only, not to come here ruffle on anyone's shoulder, defame anyone, or make anyone feel uncomfortable. And this is my own unopinionistic opinion. Let me know, like I said, what you think in the comment section. And yes, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.